Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Friday, March 15th, 2019, the Ides of March. The latest out of the New Zealand mosque shootings is the Prime Minister coming out and saying, our gun laws will change. This is the first mass shooting in New Zealand since 1983. And we're going to look at the parallels between this incident and the November 13th, 1983 incident. If you're new here, we talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. This is the language of the New World Order. Every single day, all news is contrived by a code, including tragedies such as this mass shooting. And in October of 2018, I told people to circle the Ides of March this year. I said they were forecasting that date based on the bomb scares that came out of the United States of America. And those bomb scares had a lot to do with Donald Trump. Now you have this shooting in New Zealand where the shooter is praising Donald Trump. The New World Order, they have the same agenda worldwide. Control people, make them subdue to their agenda. And part of that is disarming them and making them trust Big Brother to keep them safe. So anyhow, our gun laws will change. Anytime the media emphasizes a phrase, they use gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, to code a secret message. Numbers are a language to these people. Our gun laws will change, sums to 101, just like Ides of March, the day of the shooting. And as I pointed out yesterday, the address of the shooting was 101 Deans. This was the first mosque that was shot. The footage that was put out from the live stream showed the shooter shooting up this mosque and then begin driving to another mosque, but the video ends before he gets there. So 101, again, a number that's related to killing as well. The word assassin sums to 101. Thinking about the United States of America on October 1st, 10/1, like 101, where the shooter shot hundreds of people from a casino. Casino equals 101, so does Mandalay Bay Casino, the casino he was shooting from. And again, by understanding this knowledge, I was able to tell people to circle that date before it came. So by understanding this knowledge, you can start to see the very repetitive patterns. The manifesto the shooter put out today is called The Great Replacement. The Great Replacement, supposedly the 74-page manifesto for a shooting on the 74th day of the year, another signature number, but The Great Replacement, just another 101. That's when you run the alphabetic order in reverse and use the rules of numerology. If you just use the reverse alphabetic order, the Great Replacement also sums to 317. And what's so strange about that is the last mass shooting in New Zealand was November 13th, which is the 317th day of the year. And that was in 1990. Excuse me, I think I said 1983 earlier. 1990, the last mass shooting in New Zealand. So how strange, the 317th day of the year, this guy's manifesto connects that number. And again, it's really not that strange because all of these events are government orchestrated agendas. Governments controlled by Masonry use the motto, order out of chaos, which means essentially create the problem, provide the solution, which in modern times is disarming nations, taking away rights and liberties. Think, March 13th in history was the day the UK had the Doon Blaine massacre, where gun rights were taken away from their citizens. New Zealand now has this event on March 15th, close dates in the calendar year. And this year on March 13th, we had a mass shooting at a Brazil high school. If you missed my video on that, be sure to check it out. We talked about how Doon Blaine massacre, Columbine High School, and the recent Brazil shooting all have the overlap. They said the Brazil shooters of March 13th were inspired by the Columbine shooters. So the name of this massacre that happened November 13th, 1990, the Aramona Massacre, notice the gematria, 109. The motto for the Ides of March is Beware the Ides of March, which sums to 109, just like shooting is 109. Just like military is 109. And if you've seen the video, it was obvious that the man was well trained with his weapon. He was likely military. So understand these things are not coincidental. Not coincidental at all. Okay, there's that piece. They've put out this hashtag campaign on Twitter to remember the victims. They're saying 49 people were killed. They are us. Notice what they are us equals 49 for the 49 victims. And what is 49? 49 is a symbolic number of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which controls government, media, police worldwide. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which works by this code of letters and numbers. Scottish 49. They said the shooter praised Donald Trump, and Donald Trump resides in Washington, D.C., which has the House of the Temple, the headquarters for the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in North America. Washington equals 49. George Washington was a Scottish Rite Freemason. America 49. Donald J. Trump 49. Somebody pointed out, I wasn't able to verify it, but somebody said it was reported that the shooter's father was also supposedly killed at age 49 in 2010. With regards to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry theme, we talked about this yesterday. The date numerology was 57. 57 date numerology, the date of the shooting. I talked about it yesterday because it was still March 14th in the United States when this happened, but it was March 15th in New Zealand. Anyhow, 57 date numerology, the mosque that was attacked was the Al Noor Mosque. And notice the overlap in our 4-base ciphers with Al Noor Mosque and Scottish Rite. With the alphabetic order, perfect overlap. With the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, perfect overlap. Also connecting to the date. And this is what we see again and again. Locations that are targeted that have names that sync with the date. And again, the riddles point in one direction, to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And with the reverse alphabetic order, the name of the mosque, the same as Scottish Rite. And by the way, if you saw the video I put out earlier in the day before this even happened, I talked about the riddle in the news with Donald Trump and 159. The name Donald Trump's also 159. The shooter praised Donald Trump in his manifesto. Again, yesterday was the 74th day of the year. I keep saying yesterday because it was yesterday for us, but today, March 15th, is the 74th day of the year, the day of the shooting. Number that shows up again and again in these active shooter events, active shooter 74, again, killing 74. You could add stabbing to the list, stabbing 74. It's the day to remember the stabbing of Caesar, the killing of Caesar. Stabbing, killing, both 74, same with English, same with Gematria, same with Jewish, same with Tarot, same with Masonic, same with occult. And all of these words are interrelated. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words that have relationships with each other. This code of letters and numbers comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, which is related to the tarot cards, which is very important to Masonry. And all of this is occult hidden knowledge. Again, check out that song, Gematria, the Killing Name. Check out the other song, Murder by Numbers. One more time, this happened in Christchurch, New Zealand. A mosque was targeted. Jesus Christ is 74, Jesus 74, Messiah 74, Cross 74, Gospel 74, Parable 74. The name Muhammad is 74. They're trying to divide the people of the world. They're trying to make the people of the world hate each other and blame each other and divide where they can be divided, especially amongst religion. And September 11th was another one of these orchestrated events. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian. If you want to add another relevant name to this list, you can add Lucifer. Lucifer is 74. The people who are responsible for this, that's who they worship. You know, it's also the people who've given us these religions, who've given us this English language. All of this stuff is just to keep us divided and fighting amongst ourselves, period. So we talked about the 74, and then the latest revelation in the story was the shooter had a 74-page manifesto, which everyone reported. Every major news publication, from NBC to Al Jazeera to The Atlantic to the New York Times to AP, to the New York Post, to everyone else. Everyone reported he had the 74-page manifesto. And if you've been here since the time I started making videos 5 years ago, we've probably made, I don't know, at least 4,000 videos exposing wrongdoing centered around the number 74. Again and again. The first video I ever made explained the significance of 74 with some of the things that I taught. Again, in this video, 74, that special number. Again, the United States of America, what's our nation's birthday? 7-4. Holiday equals 74. Independence Day, 74. It's because it's a signature of the people who run the show. It's like if they were a graffiti artist, this would be their signature tag. So, the 74-page manifesto, and what's in it? Let's read a little bit about it. A manifesto, and again, this is the 74th day of the year, allegedly written by a man charged with murder in connection with mosque attacks in Christchurch, New Zealand, that left 49 people dead and scores injured, claimed inspiration from Norwegian mass murderer Anders Breivik and suggested that the pair had been in brief contact. Breivik, who killed 77 people, by the way, Christ equals 77. 77 people on July 22nd, 2011 in a bomb attack in Oslo and a mass shooting at a summer camp for children, is currently serving a 21-year sentence in prison near the city of Skien. The manifesto in the Christchurch shootings contains many references to online culture. Many of the claims in the manifesto are uncorroborated, and some appear to be designed to mislead. Speaking to the Norwegian newspaper VG, Breivik's lawyer, Øystein Storvik, said his client has very little access to the outside world and that he found it hard to believe that the two could have been in contact. In practice, Breivik is cut off from the outside world, Storvik said. So anyway, let's look at this. Or actually, there's more to read down below. There's a little bit more I got to read, but let's just go through this piece by piece. The Oslo, Norway attack was July 22nd, a date written 22/7 throughout the majority of the world. 227. That's the 49th prime number, 227. 227, the 49th prime. And they're saying 49 people killed in this more recent attack, which has now been leaked through the manifesto. Again, Scottish 49. Notice ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry 227. Those are the words etched on the Masonic headquarters in Washington, D.C. And again, Washington's 49, just like America. Oslo, Norway is also 49, where the attack happened on July 22nd. And what else is interesting is if you divide 22 by 7, you get pi. And for a lot of the world, it was still Pi Day, March 14th, like 3.14, when this was going on. Also, 77 people were killed in Oslo, and when you write out 77, it equals 49. And again, this is just what's reported. And what I've been saying for years is that when these tragedies happen, they'll fabricate the number of deaths. Sometimes they exaggerate it, sometimes they minimize it, but they report numbers that are symbolic to them, the people who are responsible. So did 49 people really die in this killing? Maybe, but probably not. They're reporting this number for a reason, again, as a signature. From the Oslo shooting to this most recent shooting, 7 years and 7 months. Also days as well. The day of the Oslo attack was also a date with a life lesson number of 33. Norway's 33, so is masonry, so is police, so is secrecy, so is order. We talked about yesterday how this attack in New Zealand came 33 weeks after the Prime Minister's birthday. 33. Oslo also has that gematria 47. We talked about how yesterday the shooting in Christchurch came a span of 47 days from the establishment of the Grand Lodge in New Zealand. 47, the number of degrees on the Masonic compass. 47, the reflection of 74, the 74th day of the year. So a little bit more about his letter. The 74-page manifesto allegedly published online by the suspected gunman before the shooting includes a number of references to Breivik. The Norwegian mass murderer's name was on a list of partisans, freedom fighters, ethno-soldiers who the author said took a stand against ethnic and cultural genocide. The author said he had drawn inspiration from the writings of Dylan Roof. Remember Dylan Stormroof from the Charleston church shooting? For years, they referred to him as Dylan Stormroof. In more recent times, they've dropped the middle name, but his name, Dylan Stormroof, an American who killed 9 black parishioners at a historic church in Charleston, South Carolina, in a mass shooting in 2015. And if you were following me then, that whole ritual was all about 74 and 47, which we covered very thoroughly. However, he said his true inspiration came from Breivik and appeared to suggest that they had been in contact. I have only had brief contact with Knight Justiciar Breivik, receiving a blessing for my mission after contacting his brother Knights. An apparent reference to the Knights Templar. And who are the Knights Templar? They're the Masonic organization where you have to be a Christian. And they go back to the time of the Crusades. Crusades, the Catholic Church against the Islamic faith and all opponents of the Catholic Church. Something that had a lot to do with Islam, an attack on Islam. Reference to the Knights Templar, a rumored secret temple Knights order of which Breivik claimed he was a commander. So check this out. Knights Templar and Christianity have the same gematria. 65 with the reduction cipher. If you use the rule for S is the special letter in reduction because it's the 19th letter. It's the only letter you have to reduce 2 times. 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. S can be 1 or 10 because it's the only letter you have to reduce 2 times. When S is 10, Christianity and Knights Templar are both 74. And again, we talked about earlier how that fit in with the long list of words. Where did I put it at? Right there. Again, this shooting on the 74th day of the year. And now the reference of the Knights Templar. Look at the name Anders Breivik. Same thing. Same thing with his name. 6574. And they're saying Anders Breivik's associated with the Knights Templar. He very well might be, because all of these rituals are being carried out through the Masonic alliances of the world, which includes the Scottish Rite, the Knights Templar, Rosicrucians, Jesuits, etc., etc. There's a lot of Masonic organizations. Look at the name Dylan Stormroof, the Charleston church shooter's full name. And don't forget, white supremacist is also 74. We've covered a number of stories over the years of white supremacists carrying out these horrible attacks, executions, and the number 74 being encoded in their name. And just in this letter, the people mentioned, in the 74-page letter, all of their names have the 74 connection. Here's another headline. New Zealand mosque attack suspect praised Trump in manifesto. Don't forget Trump equals 47. So does president, so does government, so does authority, so does White House, so does Republican, so does Democrat. Special number there, 47. But coming back to this headline, they emphasize a symbol of renewed white identity. And what's so interesting about this emphasized phrase, of course, is the gematria. A symbol of renewed white identity sums to 146 and 151. That's very interesting because Jesus Christ has the values of 146 and 151. And think about white Jesus. Where does white Jesus even come from? If you read the Bible, the description of Jesus doesn't sound like he's a white person. He's described as having this darker skin, burnt brass. His hair is described as like wool. People always say, that doesn't mean his hair was like wool like a black person's. It just means it was white like wool. Okay. Why not just say white then? I only know one race of people that have hair like wool. But anyway, the point is, the description of Jesus in the Bible, which is just in 2 places, it doesn't describe a white man. And a symbol of renewed white identity. And think about how many Trump supporters are under this delusion that he's here fighting the New World Order. When you learn this code, it's very clear to see he's a puppet of the New World Order, and he was born for the throne, as we talked about before he was even president. So, and again, this whole shooting's in Christchurch. You have to understand there's so many people that are played every day by the media and alternate media, and there's millions of people in this world who are believing things such as Islam is evil. The brown people are trying to kill all the white people. Donald Trump was sent here by God to save us from the brown people in the New World Order. There's so many people thinking this way. This divisive propaganda is meant to play on those lines of thinking, you know? So also, the PewDiePie people really didn't understand my video. Let's see what the likes and dislikes are at now. Oh, this is bad. This is bad here. With the PewDiePie people really did not grasp the video. They think I'm blaming PewDiePie, which was not an assertion I made at all. But there it is, 6.6 thousand thumbs down, and almost every comment's like, "You're an idiot. PewDiePie had nothing to do with this." And it's like, I'm an idiot. I didn't assert that he had anything to do with it. I said why the shooter used his name in this divisive propaganda. And again, just to review that piece, because something else has come to attention, PewDiePie has birth numerology of 142. And from his birthday to the day of this attack was 142 days later. That's the number connecting to terrorist. And uh-oh, somehow I hear my voice coming through now. But terrorist, again, the 9/11 attack, they said it lasted an hour and 42 minutes. Now, I've noticed mainstream media sources, they're saying according to AP, the shooting began at 1:42 p.m. Go figure. Reminds me of the hour and 42 minutes that 9/11 happened or lasted, so they say. And again, a lot of people who watch the PewDiePie video, I mean, they have no idea of the countless videos and information I've put out about August 11th, 2019. But this is one of the big numbers that we're looking at, 142, because August 11th is the day leaving 142 days left in the year. And since September of 2018, I've shown how the media could very well be signaling that there's to be an attack that day in Jerusalem at the Muslim holy site, their mosque. So how strange that now we get this mosque attack. I also put out a video saying why 2019 would be a bad year for Islam based on what the media is forecasting. And 142 is just a number that we've talked about a bunch. So here it shows up in this mosque attack. And I thought, just how strange. 142 days. Why are they referencing PewDiePie? I mean, probably to just bring more attention to this. This guy has 90 million followers, so probably every last one of them will hear about it and then begin regurgitating the story and adding more to the web and more posts and social media posts. 'Cause that's what they want to do with all these events. They want to get the mind's eye of everybody. So reference one of the biggest names online, and also again not chosen arbitrarily, because he had the numbers. He had the numbers that align with the event, the numbers that are symbolic to a terrorist attack, which this was. And the other thing that stands out there is the 20 weeks and 2 days. If you go back and watch the very first video I made on August 11th, 202 was the number coded again and again, the number that connects to Tisha B'Av, and Tisha B'Av this year falls on August 11th, which is why we're looking at that day. And then also the other thing was, of course, from his birthday or from the attack to his upcoming birthday is 223 days. August 11th, the 223rd day of the year. The other number that has a lot to do with Masonry and the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews. And then the other thing is, just look at the address of this. Maybe they don't call this a zip code in New Zealand, whatever they call it over there, but it's 8011. That's a lot like August 11th, if you ask me. And then from August 11th to PewDiePie's birthday is 74 days for one more 74 for this mosque attack on the 74th day of the year. So anyway, I mean, again, PewDiePie, his followers, we're talking about very low functioning people. It's amazing. It doesn't even make sense to me that PewDiePie can be the most popular thing online in the world. He's not funny. His content is, well, I was going to say his content is for low functioning, and maybe just right there, I just solved the whole problem I wasn't seeing before, because that is what the majority of the world is: low functioning, bunch of idiots. How can people come here and be attacking this video all throughout the day when the latest headline is that there's a 74-page, manifesto, and I went over 74 very thoroughly in this video. So just shows you how literally retarded people are, brain dead. And what else was going on while this story was clogging up the airwaves? Israel was again attacking Islamic sites. You know, how many times have we seen this? A big mass shooting in the news, and while that's going on, Israel's bombing away. This doesn't look like a coordinated campaign. You know, how many times, seriously, how many times has there been a mass shooting and Israel bombing somebody at the same time? It's like having a dog go fetch, and then while the dog's looking away, you're still in his biscuits. So, if anybody has any information to share, you're welcome to call in. The number is 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. Miss Mildred says Bonanza is not listed. Can you see this? Let me see. Let me see if it's still up. It doesn't look like it's been blocked. What sucks about losing the book on Etsy is I lost all the good reviews. For those of you who don't know, Etsy blocked my book today. 2 years ago, this is the anniversary of all my online accounts getting hacked on the 74th day of the year. Etsy is located in Brooklyn, New York, the most Jewish neighborhood in the world. Brooklyn, New York, 74223. What do you know about those numbers? But of course, Etsy blocks it on the 74th day of the year. They banned it for it got banned because of all the publication dates I put in the book. Here, I'll just show you this to you real quick. Let me pull up the book. I'll show you what they banned it for. Let me see. Where's it at? This is what it's banned for right here. I published, or in the book, I put all the dates and paper names. Actually, I guess I didn't even do all the books. I just went after the New York Times. I could have put even more dates in here, but I just went after the New York Times and I showed all the dates in history that they published about 6 million dead Jews or dying Jews or used the word Holocaust. All these dates are prior to the Holocaust in World War II. So I could have made that list a lot longer because it was more than just the New York Times, but I really went after the New York Times. So this is what they said they banned the book for, because they didn't appreciate this being in the book, even though this is all factual. These are all real dates that the New York Times published about 6 million dead or dying Jews, and even used the word Holocaust a decade before the Holocaust. So according to Etsy, that's not allowed on their site. They're down with the book burning. They're down with the Orwellian tactics of flushing history. But anyway. So yeah, you can still get the book. For all of you guys who still aren't supporting the book, I mean, if all 50,000 of the subscribers would have went out and got the book, there'd be a book tour going, there'd be employees hired, we'd be taking this work to the next level. We'd probably have somebody on a plane to Christchurch to be doing the research that needs to be done on the ground there. I am really let down by this community. I mean, I'm grateful for all of you who have supported, but $5 for this book is just such a small cost. And I just get so sick of people's comments like, I'd get it if it was a paper book. You guys can print the book, you guys can support the cause by putting $5 towards the hard work, So, but it's not there. You guys don't value that. You value hamburgers and Starbucks coffee and pay-per-view fights and Hollywood movies, and I don't know. I don't know about this Bonanza website either. I don't know how long they're going to let it be up. So anyway, the knowledge needs to be out there. There's a lot of people in this world who need to be educated. There's a lot of dumb sheep that need to get put in their place. SepTube says, isn't it my responsibility to get the information out there? Well, I have gotten the information out there, but it's not just, I can't just do it all, you know? I'm one person. I've had to persevere through a lot of crap to do this work, you know? Did you get your house burglarized and your house destroyed November 15th, 2014 for doing this work? Did you get a car crash through your house Christmas Eve 2016 for doing this work? Have you got, 100 death threats in the physical mailbox for doing this work? Have you had police harass you in your front yard for doing this work? Have you had the FBI show up at your house for doing this work? That's what I thought. What am I'm doing as much as I can do, you know? So,
On stream.
what's up, caller?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, you're the one streaming, right?
Say it again.
You're the one streaming on YouTube, right now?
I'm streaming on YouTube. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So I don't live too far away from the event.
Okay, you're calling from Christchurch?
No, I'm calling from Auckland, which is about an hour and a bit away. Okay.
Okay.
I'd just like to know, what is your personal opinion on the event? For example, what he's trying to, from what I gather, what he's trying to do is increase the gun laws, right?
Well, that's what they're trying. They're trying to disarm the public and build up the police surveillance state. That's what the governments of the world are trying to do.
But do you see what he's trying to do at all? The fact that he, in New Zealand, it's kind of hard to get guns normally. Do you understand that?
Well, I just saw your prime minister come out and say that the gun laws are going to change because you can still get guns there.
Yes, as in we can buy gun parts, and then we can buy guns if we have a collector's license, or if we're a soldier, or if we're a farmer. For example, farmers can buy rifles, right? And soldiers can buy semi-automatic rifles. But we can't buy military-grade weapons for a good reason. Except, to have an issue, for example, we could buy gun parts off the internet and assemble it.
Right. And that's probably going to become even more strict. And the other thing that I imagine that they'll do is probably arm your police. So make it harder for people to get guns and build up the police state in your own nation, which is going on worldwide. So.
But do you believe what he did was the worst thing that could have happened? Do you think he could have done it in any other way?
What do you mean, the shooter?
Yeah, do you believe that? Because his message is trying to increase security around the country and around the world.
It's the government that's responsible. He's like a MK Ultra project. That's what the government wants, to build up the police state and disarm the people.
Okay, so build up the police state and disarm the people. Do you think that's a good thing?
No, that's not a good thing. I'm going to cut it off here, caller. You're asking me the lowest level questions that should just be self-explanatory. So we'll leave it there. I appreciate you phoning in, but I mean, you should already know about this agenda. This stuff's going on worldwide. And is building up a police state a good thing? I mean,
why don't you want to talk? You're literally being a conspiracy theorist right now.
Well, because you're asking really dumb questions. Have you ever read George Orwell's 1984? Did you think that that was a positive outlook of the world? It's like you read 1984 and you came away with, yeah, this is the way the world should be. Book burning, police state.
I've never read the book.
Huh?
I've never read the book.
Well, you should go read George Orwell's 1984.
But could I just ask a serious question right now? Why are you trying to use this major event, a mass shooting, to sell a book like a Jew? Could I just ask that serious question right now? Because what you're doing
so here's what I've been working for. Here, listen up, dumb motherfucker. For 6 years, I've been exposing what's going on in this world every single fucking day. And I've been talking about since 9/11. All right, here, listen to this dumb motherfucker. I hung up on him. Why are you trying to, I mean, what a piece of shit. You see, this is what's wrong with the world. This is why I say it's not the Illuminati, it's the people. You see, this guy wants to, have a police state. Is a police state a bad thing? Is more government security a bad thing? Is disarming people a bad thing? I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Listen how fucking dumb he is. I never read 1984. My book is about educating people to an agenda that goes on every single day by the same fucking code. And if you're not understanding the purpose of this knowledge and seeing through the agenda, then you are a human sack of shit. You know? What a fucking cuck. God. Yeah, the people are the absolute fucking problem. How can PewDiePie be the most popular thing on YouTube? This guy's a fucking idiot. He's not funny. There's nothing intelligent about his work. You know, how can this guy have 90 million subscribers? And then you just see how fucking retarded his audience is because they're all on my video and they can't even, you know, they have no ability to listen or discern or it's just pathetic. It's like they're all attacking me for something that I didn't say. So, but look at this shit. Kids are very dumb. That's who his audience is. I mean, perhaps this channel is meant to mock the people who are subscribed. All his videos, like try not to laugh, try not to cry. It's like you turn it on, you're like, who is watching this video and laughing? There's nothing funny about this guy. Zero. Do any other idiots want to call in today? I will accept phone calls from idiots. Let me see how many other people are big, proud enthusiasts of the New World Order. I can't believe that guy had to ask me those questions. What's wrong with taking away our rights? What's wrong with the police state? Caller?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? When did they upgrade the pages from 74 to 87? I didn't see the 87 yet.
Okay, so I did see CNN do that tonight. So yeah, they did change it from 74 to 87. I just skipped that spot, but Muslim with the alphabetic order is 87, so it's not hard to see where they're going there.
It's crazy they put out those two numbers, 74, lower 74, and then 87 for Muslim.
Right, right. And they both have Muslim relations too, because Muhammad's 74. So yeah, that's what they did with that.
And I like how you connected the Trump number. You said the Trump number in there too.
Right.
Because everything that's going on is connected to Trump. Now I think about that. Remember that book, the Behrendt Trump book talking about the caves of Russia. That's where it all comes from. Like the caves of Russia, the collusion.
Right.
And that's why I called you earlier. They think about collusion.
Right.
Tell the YouTube viewers about the collusion. Why they use the collusion so much? Saying collusion so much with Trump. How I go back with Russia and the Jews originally coming from Russia for over 100 years, 40 years or so, before they got kicked out of Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Can you explain that to the YouTube viewers?
What's going on? What's going on worldwide with Say it one more time, caller.
Why they keep using the word collusion since Trump became president? It's collusion. They colluded the truth from us. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why they're using collusion so much with Trump, because they colluded all the information from us.
Well, collusion's
the word collusion is so big with Trump being president. That's why I wanted you to make that point to everybody.
Collusion is more like a collaboration. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. They colluded to hide the truth from everybody. That's
Sure.
why they do all this stuff. It's not about money and power. It's about hiding the truth and the history. Like all the artifacts of Africa, all the other parts of the world, all these museums and stuff. So they steal the history that the people don't know. So they want to control the narrative and the direction they want to take everybody.
Well, I mean, that's what's going on. That's what the whole agenda is. That's the New World Order plan. work in secret.
Only the people can see the truth. Like we can see the truth with our eyes closed. We know what time it is. The other people, they don't see the truth. But when you try to explain it to them, they conspiracy. That's why they overthrow that word. When somebody says conspiracy, it's like I just want to cut them off when they say conspiracy. It's not conspiracy. It's truth.
Right. Well, the people are programmed. That's the mind control programming that almost everybody's under. They just go right away. They go, oh, conspiracy theory, and then they just dismiss, and they just believe everything that comes from their government media without any questioning. So it's a society of useful idiots. Hey, caller, I appreciate it, man.
Okay, guys.
All right, take care. He's out there in New York. It's loud, but yeah, I mean, you just see how brain dead the populace is. And I've understood this from the day 9/11 happened and really even before that. I mean, nobody questions anything. You know, people just believe everything that comes through the TV from their government. People worship mediocrity. I mean, just look at this world. It's like the shittiest musicians are the top selling. The dumbest fucking shit on TV is the most watched. The dumbest movies. It's just like, it's a society of fucking retards, you know? And there's no other way to put it. It's a society of fucking retards. And I just don't know what to do about it, you know, besides, you know, start a truth community and get the fuck out of this place, or try to just distance ourselves as much as possible from it. Okay, let's go out to Dayton, Ohio.
Hey, what's good, Zach? It's Chigozie.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. So what I have to share, it's not about the event. It's still some coding. This could be about anything, right? It's not just about the false flag event in New Zealand.
Right.
All right. It's about Zion Williamson. I don't know if you can go on Instagram right now, but on Bleacher Report's Instagram, it's just like a few other pictures down. You see Zion Williamson, and you see him with like, they made him look like a beast, like a devil, a demon, and that was on Pi Day. And you can see it immediately and just see their ritual. It was on Pi Day. The first 144 decimals of pi gives you 666. Revelation 13:18, talking about 666 and the number of the beast. Here they're showing him as the beast. He's even wearing the one. When you write out, you know, beast has 47 gematria, so it is one. And the best part is from his 18th birthday, again, 6 + 6 + 6 is 18. From his 18th birthday to Pi Day is a span of 36 weeks, 666, the 36 triangular number, and it's 8 months, 8 days, 88 connected to time, the analemma, Back to the Future, 1440 degrees in the 4 circles. So I just see a really clear ritual. I just want to share.
Yeah, you see it, man. Great work.
Yeah, you see it. And you see how he's scoring 29 points. Props to 29. And then I saw the 13 field goals, and they also remind me of Revelation 13:13, talking about doing great deeds, and he had a good game with them. And it's all about fire. I'll read it for the King James Version. Revelation 13:13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. It's kind of interesting. It's talking about Revelation 13:13, fire coming down from heaven on earth, fire and earth, both equals 29. It's 29 points. On men equals 14. It's the 14 rebounds, and then it's for 13 field goals. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. And then also that 5-1 they have. If you go on his Wikipedia and look at other pictures of him, they have him, and they have his number 5 next to him. And I think a lot of his Zionism 51, his Zion Williamson, they have that Zionism coding around him a lot. So yeah, I just want to share that real quick. But thanks for the stream. I'm gonna keep listening in and enjoying it.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care.
And one more thing, the circle and then the cube they have too. The circle, he's holding the hoop, and then the board, circle or cube, like the back, more time symbols.
There you go. Great work, man.
So, yeah. Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, see you.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't have anything to do with this shooting, but this knowledge does expand to the world of sports too. For all the sheep out there that might be in attendance, the Duke Blue Devils has this Gematria 111. 111. They play in Durham, North Carolina. That's where they play. 111. Their star player right now is Zion Lateef Williamson. 111. You see this? Earlier this year, they became 11-1 in New York, the 11th state, winning that game by 11 points. Where do you think Zion's going to? And they've been stuck on 111 wins against North Carolina this season. So anyway, that doesn't have to do with the shooting, but just so you know, this code applies to all things in the media. What's up, caller?
Hey, how's it going, man? Just was checking out your stream. I wanted to call in real quick. I guess you know me by the guy that called a couple weeks ago. That was kind of on the fence, and I kind of made up my mind. I believe there is something to what you say. Just looking at everything, looking at the evidence, and obviously, I'm not particularly good at math. But overall, from what I can understand, obviously it's not, difficult. Like you mentioned, it's not difficult arithmetic. But yeah, just looking at everything, there's something to it. I'll admit that. And I just wanted to say, just as obviously, the past callers, I get people kind of like to say that they're idiots. But listen, man, think of it this way. At the end of the day, those people, never really mattered to begin with, right? So I wouldn't really, I understand. I liken, I understand the frustration just sometimes talking to people just about anything. Like, even in my neck of the woods here, a lot of people just care about just, movies and all that, the Kardashians, all that stupid crap. So, I would just, think of it that way, that regardless of what those people do, it just seems that, just looking at the big picture, what's ultimately going to end up happening is, the few people are, history will repeat itself all over again, and the few are going to have to take actions for the many. And, that, because that's one of the things that I unfortunately, when I realized, a lot of people like to, there's a lot of conspiracies, obviously, right? And a lot of people like to say, oh, the elites are controlling everything, and oh man, we got to stop them, or this and that, right? But then I think to myself, man, I look around me, the common man, so to speak. And, obviously, I'm a blue collar guy, right? Like I just do manual labor, but at the same time, I don't act like the people around me, because, like, again, they like this, like, senseless crap that makes no sense, that has no vitality, no essence of anything. And, I get tired of it, but yeah, that's sort of decision, the personal decision I made for myself, that she's like, hey, these people, they're not going to matter anyways. So
what's the point you're trying to make, man? You've been talking for minutes, and I don't know what point you're trying to make.
Oh, well, the only point, sorry, but the only point I was trying to make is, well, one, I understand, I'll give you credit that there's something to what you say. I'll continue listening to you. And also, just don't. I wouldn't personally stress out too much of those people that call in, or that have that mentality of not wanting to see outside the box. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So.
All right. Well, those people are the whole fucking problem. So yeah, I am going to keep talking about those people. They're the whole reason all this shit goes on. So until something's done about them, we're going to be forever fucked. That's the way it is. All right, I got to switch over, man. I appreciate the call. What's up, caller? 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 All right. It's probably the FBI. Jesus. But yeah, no, the brain dead masses are the entire problem. None of this can go on without the brain dead masses. The brain dead masses keep things as they are. Let's see. Caller, you got to mute your stream.
It's muted.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. What's up?
Guarantee you that down under call from New Zealand or wherever it was from was a local cop.
It sounded like it, yeah. Because I mean, what kind of fucking idiot would say, "Yeah, what's wrong with building up the police state"? I mean, who the fuck's gonna say that?
Yeah, you should get in the habit of asking international callers what they do professionally.
Well, okay. That was the other thing that I wanted to get him off. I don't have this long distance plan, so I don't want to be paying for that phone call either. So I just want to get him off the phone.
No, is this a cell phone you have?
Right.
That's the inbound call?
Right.
You don't pay for inbound calls.
Is that true? International?
Yeah. Yeah, you do not pay for somebody calls you internationally, you're not paying for that call. You got to realize something. The cost for connecting a call anywhere in the world is basically zero. That's how efficient telecommunications system is. Okay, all the carriers are charging you for is for the maintenance of those lines and the upkeep. But any network that's built that you're using right now, that's already paid for. Trust me. I kind of grew up in the stuff, so I have a little bit of insight. So any inbound international call, if it's showing up in your cell phone bill, which I don't think it is, okay?
Well, so this is what I'm thinking of. It was like 2 months ago, I took this UK caller, and it was like an hour long, and I got a big extra charge for that from Verizon. So I need to go back and find out why I got that extra charge then.
You shouldn't be charged for inbound international calls. No way, okay? Outbound international calls, yeah. If you're making the call, yeah, you get charged. If you're the one picking up the phone and dialing the number and trying to reach out to somebody internationally, yeah, you should be charged. If somebody internationally calling into you,
They called me. I know that they called me when I got this extra charge. So I'm going to go back and take that up with. I'm going to go research that then. So I appreciate this information.
It's true. It's true. You know, inbound international calls on your cellular are not supposed to be charged. And if you travel overseas and you make calls, you get charged roaming charge unless you have something set up with your carrier.
Well, even if you cross over into Canada and you make a phone call, you get charged a bunch. I'm up here. I'm in northern Washington, so I've been in that situation before.
Yeah. So, in talking with a friend, this is a real reason why I wanted to call you. Talking with a friend down under. He actually lives in New Zealand. And he had just gotten back into town the day before. And he said, listen, this operation was a military operation. It was to target. There's a program called Refugee Resettlement Program. All nations, all United States member nations have it. It's to settle displaced refugees from war-torn areas, especially in the Middle East and North Africa. And the United States is part of it. Okay? And you can look this up. It accounts for the rise in the Muslim population in certain areas. And this was a program that happened in Christchurch. He said after the earthquake, a lot of people didn't want to move back to Christchurch. And so they brought in a lot of refugees, especially from areas that were affected by the ISIS-Syria war conflict area. And he said a lot of these individuals were ISIS members who were gunned down, who presumed were hiding or had been brought into New Zealand. So that's a story not being told, but it's a little bit of an insight. But it was a professional military guy. You could tell by his armament, the way he shot. I saw the 16-minute version of the video before it was taken down.
Me too. That's what I said last night in the video I did, that it's obvious that he's military.
Yeah, this guy's military, very well trained. And you can tell that he had seen some combat of some time somewhere. And, you know, I actually I downloaded that video so that, you know, I'd have a record of it. I can look at it. But you could tell this guy, it was well planned. You know, this is not some random guy. And the manifesto is a prop piece, okay?
Of course, they always are. It's the same thing every time. When you look at these mass shootings, the guys usually are former military. I mean, that's the case more often than not. They always put out this bullshit manifesto where if you know this code, you see why it's the number of pages it is. It's the same thing. So, incident after incident. The whole, like I've explained, the entire world, the New World Order is a military police agenda. I mean, that's what this is. So, yeah, what you're saying is right on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he had some other insights into it also, but apparently this guy did a bit of globe trotting, and he'd been to several European countries, and he had multiple passports. So there's more going to come out. You have to go to the edges to get to the real story, and you have to have those sources cultivated to get the real insight. But it is interesting. Thanks for your input.
Well, thank you for calling in and letting us hear your voice. I think you're right on. So appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care. Yeah, I said the exact same thing last night after watching the video. I said it's obvious the guy's military, and he probably developed his hatred for Muslim people, fighting in these illegal wars, these unnecessary wars that all came out of September 11th, which was down on the 74th meridian. So, what's up, caller?
Well,
You're on.
hey, folks, man, it's the General here. Okay, remember I said about bushes and walkers? Isn't that funny that guy down in New Zealand, the chief of police, is named Mike Bush?
Exactly. And his name equals 47, like policeman, like cop, like government, like authority. Yeah, I covered his.
Let me add something about the guy, the shooter's name, Brent Torrent.
Right.
Isn't it funny how you can only get the video on the torrent right now?
Huh. That is an interesting observation.
All right. Now, I have three-digit numbers that represent 47 for you. 113, 232, 351. 113, 232, 351.
Okay, and so wait, go over those numbers again. What is it about those three? I know some things about those numbers, but what's the point you're making?
With my cipher, with the 121 cipher.
Okay.
12 inches equals 1 foot.
Okay.
113, 232, 351, all go to 47. There's more. There's two-digit numbers. There's a reverse of that, whatever. 232 is reversible anyway. So basically, like 113, 232, 351 stand out as the alternate 47 number. There's a lot of alternate numbers back there. There's like they hide the 47, they hide the 55, they hide them with different numbers. So that's what my cipher does. Kind of, it's another way to bring out their hidden numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look more at that cipher. Are you posting this work anywhere online?
No, not yet. Also, kamikaze. We were talking about that lately. Camera crazy. Japanese people are camera crazy. That's where they probably got the name kamikaze from.
I've never thought about that before. That's an interesting thought. All right.
I'm telling you, man, there are so many foreign names, and then all the different news things. Foreign names are all made up bullshit. Mosque says to me Mason. I mean, it's real close to being the word Mason. So anything that's got an M-O-S and a D sound in it is probably going to be related to Mason. Huh. But carry on. Hey, man, I just want to add, don't be so mad at people, man. My wife's getting upset with you.
Well, I'm going to be mad at people. That's just who I am, man. I'm sick of people.
I know, but she, I mean, coming from a special ed background like you do, you shouldn't really be calling people retarded, low functioning, all that stuff. It's just not cool, dude. I mean,
well, people are retarded, man. The word retarded means stunted. If you're going to tell me that the American people aren't retarded, I don't know what to say.
And we all know that. We all know that, dude. It's like, I really think that you're kind of confused. I don't know. There might be some. I mean, I believe in like evil influence and good and evil. And I think that sometimes you kind of let the evil influence take over, and you just start belittling, too much. I understand. We're all on the same page. That if you're an actual truther, you've been doing this for years. I'm talking to you, and not just you. I'm talking to your audience and anybody who's really doing this for real. Pretty much knows that, and then that's the problem we're fighting. We're all fighting together. So that's all I want to add, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate your point of view. Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
Well, his wife doesn't like that I refer to people as retarded, but I mean, I'm going to call spades spades. Retarded means stunted. How are the American people not stunted? How are the people of the world not stunted? I mean, give me a break. They couldn't be any more stunted. So... Trev in the chat says he thinks the video's fake. I don't know about that, man. I don't know what looks fake about that video. Hollywood could, I mean, if they really wanted to make a Hollywood production and contrive that, they could, but I mean, I can't come out and say that video's fake.
Hello.
What's up, caller?
I just want to say, I'm not a cop. Idiot. Also, how is he military? He was the worst shot in the world.
Say it again, caller. I didn't make it out.
I'm not a cop, and how is he in the military? He was literally the worst shot. He even dropped his mags on the floor.
He wasn't the worst shot. I mean, did you see the part where he shoots that woman very quickly, pulls up his gun, and she's running away and shoots her through that little narrow gap?
Yeah, I
mean,
watched it 4 times. A proper soldier wouldn't just go back and shoot the dead bodies over and over. A proper soldier would kill them efficiently the first time. Also, he is literally not even fucking trained.
You said a proper soldier. You said
listen,
you said a proper soldier. There's nothing proper about this man. But I wouldn't say that he was a bad shot.
If you told me that he was in the military, you said he's like most likely ex-military, yet he had literal shitty skills. He didn't even clear rooms properly. He wasn't looking around efficiently.
So, like I pointed out yesterday, what doesn't make sense to me is how there's no police response in the time he's doing that. The police station's not that far away. There's no sirens. There's no deterrent. I understand that the New Zealand police don't carry guns on their hips, but it says some of them have guns in their car, and they do have special forces that have guns. I just don't understand how there was zero police response in that entire time.
Do you realize how long it takes for police response in New Zealand? It takes 20 to 30 minutes on average.
Well, I don't live in New Zealand, so I can't vouch for that. You very well could be right, but that seems, I mean, why? The police station's right there. The police station was a couple kilometers from the shop.
It will take 20, 30 minutes for him to show up, because the majority of crimes here are not murder. They're not big. The majority of crimes here are just shitty little thieves.
Okay, so?
The police force isn't that large. If you look on, okay, I want you to go on YouTube right now, in a moment. Look up the New Zealand police recruitment video. They're trying so hard to get more cops, just because of the fact that police force is so little. There's not enough of them.
Okay, what you're saying could very well be true, and perhaps this is the part of the reason of this agenda. Maybe it's to build up your police force and to militarize them more like they've done in the U.S. ever since 9/11. Ever since 9/11, here now you go to the United States, every town, even small, has militarized police vehicles, police walking around all this heavy body armor, assault rifles. It didn't used to be this way. Cops used to have on their, their fabric cap, their fabric uniform. Now everywhere you go, you see these military police. Every sport event, the military police are all over. So the same thing is probably going to be happening in your nation. You're probably going to be seeing more police, more surveillance. Maybe 10 years from now, you got the armored police vehicles rolling down the street. So this could be what's going on in New Zealand. That could be part of the agenda. Like I said, it's about disarming the populace and building up the police state. So, maybe I'm wrong to say that the police should have responded.
Something I want to know. Why do you want guns? And you're like, why do you, okay, so you don't believe in people not having weapons, but why? If no one has weapons, then there's not going to be weapons in the first place.
So you just made it, I can't believe you're actually asking me that question after what you just said happened. You just knew that this guy went in there knowing everything about your police. There's hardly any police.
I don't give a fuck about Muslims. I don't give a fuck about the killing. I don't care that it happened. You're the one fucking trying to sell it. Look, you're the one on the call like going, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Have you ever looked fucking forward? Have you ever thought in your thick fucking head that not everything is fucking conspiracy theory?
Well, there is a real conspiracy in this world. What do you think happened on 9/11?
I wasn't alive.
How old are you?
How old are you?
Well, I was 18 when 9/11 happened, and I've been speaking out about this agenda ever since because I realized that these people were doing.
I wasn't even born. How about that?
Well, so you're very young and ignorant. So you're not even old enough to work.
And you're old and fucking retarded.
I'm not that old, actually. I'm 35. That's not that old.
Shit about some numbers going, oh, look, it's, what was the number again for Muhammad? What was that number? Could you like to repeat it?
74.
Okay, so now tell me, where does 74 show up? Because I only just got on your stream about 10 minutes ago. So
for example, I predicted in 2014 why Muhammad Ali would die at age 74. And he did. And he died on June 3rd because the Prophet Muhammad died at age 63.
Most people don't live past the age of fucking 65.
What's that?
Most people don't live past the age of 65, so.
That's not true. But the point is, this code is very repetitive. If you've if you should invest in my work. You just got here. See how many videos I've put out, and understand I'm on my 18th channel due to censorship, but just in the last 2 weeks, how many videos have I done exposing wrongdoing in the world and how the number 74 is coded? Since the very first video
right now.
Huh?
Should I go upload the video to like Pornhub or something and link it to you so that you can play the video on your stream right now, the shooting footage? Should I upload the shooting footage right now?
I can't play the shooting footage. Obviously, they'll take down the live stream. So here's a question for you. Do you think it's coincidental that yesterday before it was yesterday here because we're a day behind, but when the news broke, I showed the significance of 74. And then, hours later, they put out the detail that he had a 74-page manifesto. Do you think that's just a coincidence in light of what I've been educating people about? Huh?
He was literally edgy. He had, okay, do you know what was written on his guns? You watched the footage, yes?
Wait, it's a yes or no question. 74-page manifesto.
Is that a coincidence? I just believe it's a coincidence. Now,
okay, so look, I'm just going to mute you for a second.
Look at his guns.
Hold on.
What was written on his weapons?
I muted you for a second. You're still there. But look,
He's been writing everything about every atrocity the Muslims have done in the past 100 years. He even wrote the names of girls that have been stabbed to death over in Sweden on his guns.
Weird. When I mute you, my phone doesn't work. It shows that it's highlighted, but you're still talking. So I don't even know what to make of that. Look, you already exposed that you're a young child. You hardly know anything about anything, but you have all these big opinions. You think you know what a trained military soldier is all about? You think you know everything's a coincidence? What are you, like 15-year-old know-it-all?
You're a fucking idiot if you go, he has military background when he doesn't.
So how would you know that as a young person? You weren't even alive in 2001. That makes you 17 or 18 years old right now.
So, is that an issue?
So how do you know about the military?
I'll have you understand that a lot of my family members have been in the wars. A lot of them have been soldiers in the past. Unlike you, I don't fucking sit on, what is this, YouTube at 40 years old claiming that some bullshit number relates to something else when it was just a fucking coincidence. Like, who the hell plans a mass shooting on the 74th day of the year? Who the hell cares what day you're doing on?
Well, somebody who understands the code that a group of people work by, who are waging an agenda against the people of the world.
Airport on December, and you're going to find something. You're just going to pretend that something I did was matched up with it. I could literally go fucking bomb an airport, and then you could just go and be like, oh, the date of that matches up to some other bullshit fucking event. No matter what day it is, you're just the type of person that will try and find some bullshit, non-existent correlation between the two events.
All right. So I'm going to switch over just because you've made your point. You're incorrect about everything.
You're a fucking retarded Jew. You're literally trying to sell a book and he's a mass shooting to fucking push your agenda.
Okay. Well, you're a human piece of shit, which you've made clear through your words. You're probably also not as young as you say.
You get fucking shot to death. I hope you're someone in the next major shooting, because then I could be like, oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, it's fucking something fucking connected. It's not a coincidence. Someone targeted you. No, if you get fucking shot to death at a church, you just got shot to death at a church. That's no fucking coincidence.
Okay, but we're not talking about coincidence. For example, I told people to circle this date in October based on what was being coded in the major tragedy here in the U.S. with all the bomb scares. So I've learned and understood how this operation works.
99% of those bomb scares are literally just kids trying to be funny as fuck by calling in fucking SWAT teams saying, oh my God.
No, that's not what it was. It was, you're speaking out of ignorance again. We had a major story over here in the U.S. about somebody sending all these bombs to the news and to politicians, and supposedly they were a big Donald Trump fan, just like how they're now connecting this shooter to Donald Trump. And
oh, wow, because the shooter is 100% a Donald Trump fan if he's a fucking Australian citizen.
Well, that was in his manifesto today, wasn't it? That's what national news headlines are about.
Link me the manifesto right now. Put the manifesto in chat so I can read it.
Put what?
Copy the manifesto, upload it somewhere. Give me the download link in chat right now.
Well, just go search the headlines right now. The headlines are everywhere about...
I'm sorry, but like New Zealand government's kind of a bunch of fucking niggers and they're trying to censor it. I can't...
So why are you so racist and hateful? You've said all these hateful things towards certain groups of people. What you sound like is a stereotypical, guy that sits on the internet and calls people the N-word and says you hate brown people and Muslims. But we all know you would never do this on purpose. You just sound like a stereotypical person from your generation. You just talk shit because you're hiding in the safety of your own home right now. Would you say these things to somebody's face?
I'm sitting right here.
Yeah, you're sitting right there. You're protected.
You on the fucking
Huh?
You know, I should fucking send a fucking pipe bomb to you on the mail. You should check your mail for the next month.
Okay. All right, buddy. You got your
All right,
opinion
yeah,
in. You didn't make yourself look very good. He hung up. I didn't even have to hang up on him. He hung up on himself. Okay. But yeah, he just reminded me of that entire internet video game generation. You go online and play one of those online video games, a bunch of young people talking real big, calling people the M word. I mean, complete filth. So, but also he is representative of the world. I would say like that person represents the majority of his age group. They think they know everything. It's just a coincidence. Who cares if you called it an advance? Who cares? It's just a coincidence. Who cares if he made 1,000 videos showing how these people work by 74, and then on the 74th day of the year he has a 74-page manifesto? It's just a coincidence. I mean, really, that person represents the world. So, yeah, and he's probably a PewDiePie subscriber. I mean, so I'm not going to call the police. I don't call the police. I don't believe in the government. He's obviously not going to send me a pipe bomb. But no, I don't call the police. I don't ask for the government to solve my problems. So police are the same ones who burglarized my house and put a car through it on Christmas Eve. Yeah, I'll check my bill again because that guy was an international caller too. So a lot of people have been saying that they can't get my book on Bonanza, but they should be able to. Just so you guys know, Etsy banned my book today. So I've posted it here on Bonanza. It's the new spot, and people have been able to buy it. I hope they didn't block it already. But again, the book is a digital ebook. It's an instant download. It's only $5. One of the longest chapters in this book is the history of false flag shootings by the numbers over several decades. And again, it just shows what a redundant pattern it is, how often the same numbers are coded. For example, one of the numbers that comes up all throughout the decades of shootings is 109. Just like how the last mass shooting in New Zealand was known as the Aramona Massacre 109. The latest shooting is on Beware the Ides of March 109. Shooting also 109. So is military. Yeah, the number to call in, 509-731-0567. 509-731-0567. I'm not going to put out the number of the last caller. Dude, he's just an idiot. I'm not worried about his threat or anything. So... Somebody said, will I decode the 14 on his gun? So I have a few thoughts about the 14 on his gun. So the word dead equals 14, right? Hold on, we got a caller. Oh, it's my buddy Jerry. What's up, Jerry?
Hey.
Hey, man.
I wanted to talk about something that we noticed a long time ago with the events, because I know we can't call them what they are when we're live. But when we had an event, you would notice that people that live in the area would automatically go out there and lash out against people that were calling it what it really was. And it seems like the closer somebody is to an event, the more they believe it.
Of course.
And it's that kind of dissonance that sets in because you're closer to it. I mean, it's actually almost like a mental condition. So what you'll find is people that actually live closer to an event have more feelings and believe it more.
Absolutely.
And that's why you're going to receive those kind of calls and trolls right when these things take place.
And that's also why they're doing these all over the place, all over the world, seemingly trying to get every community that there is out there so they can get everybody on board.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if we look at how often these things have happened all around the world, literally, if you take into effect the psychology behind what's gone on, it's been in so many areas that everybody's almost been affected by it. I mean, I think some people know my case where I was literally right next to a couple of these. And I guess I was lucky enough to find people like you and whatnot that helped wake me up to see that they're more than what we were being told was going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that because, you're going to see that every time these things happen. You'll see like the trolls come right in right away. But in investigating some of these trolls, come to find out they're just average people, and it's people that live near these places. And
right.
Especially when I went to Sandy Hook and protested, finding the people that actually understood the truth more were further away from the area where these things happened. The closer you are to an event, the more they believe them. And you would think that would be the opposite because they know their area, but there's just something that sets in the psychology of what goes on where they actually believe it more when they're closer to it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. So so many people will say things like, I saw the sirens. It's like, yeah, you saw the sirens. They're having a big drill. So
exactly. And that's almost like that effect, and police have been caught doing this in cities before where they'll race down the street in certain areas just to get the sirens going and get people's fear up to a certain point so they have control of certain areas. Because in some areas they can't afford to always put so many police in an area. So it's the continuous fear they put into people's minds, and it's a psychological effect that even the sirens have themselves.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think that's something we need to learn more ourselves, is understanding the psychology of what's going on, because it's having an impact on so many of us in so many different ways. And we truly need to really understand how it's going to affect us so we can figure out ways to move on from this and continue to figure out things that we can do to try and stop it.
I agree completely. So
we're going to see that every time. And what you'll notice is when you do these things, after a couple of days, those type of people seem to fade away.
Right.
So that's about it. Otherwise, it was nice talking to you, man.
Appreciate it, Jerry. You take care, man.
All right, you too.
All right, have a good one. Yeah, so I just don't know what to do about humanity, man. It's like they never learn. They're just so gullible. Somebody was asking about the 14s on the gun before the call came. Okay, so I was going to make the point about the 14. So dead equals 14. So this number has an association with 14. The word end also has the gematria 14. And killing has that gematria 43, which is the 14th prime number. So when I saw the 14s on the guns, this is what I thought about. And then the shootings in March, which also has the gematria 43. Maybe that's arbitrary. But then again, we now have the Doon Blaine massacre in March, which got gun rights taken away in the UK. And then you have, don't forget this is on the 74th day of the year too, right? For another 74. But 43 is the 14th prime number. So those are my thoughts about the 14 on the end of the gun. Of course, we know the whole thing's a Masonic ritual too, but 43, 14, they are numbers associated with death and killing. So. For the person in the chat who said that he thinks the video is fake, you know, again, we live in the age where something like that could be faked, that it looked like a Hollywood movie. It's possible, but I can't come out and say that the video is fake because it's very well done. If it's faked, it's amazing because it looks so real. The most amazing thing to me is just that you don't hear any police sirens, no police response. Maybe it is true in the New Zealand they don't respond for like a half hour, but that's just that. As I watched the video, I was just thinking, how can there be no sirens or anything in the background? No one's coming. I mean, this guy's taking his sweet ass time. If you have not seen the video, here's literally what happens. The video, the first about 6 minutes is him driving in his car, talking, saying subscribe to PewDiePie, listening to some music. And then he takes his time backing up just right in this alleyway next to the mosque. And then he gets out and he pops open the back of his car and he's got some gasoline tanks back there and a couple guns and ammunition. And he picks out which gun he wants to use first. And he walks from his car to the alleyway, walks up to the front of the mosque. As soon as he gets to the door, he starts shooting. And so he kills the guy right in the door. And then he goes and he just starts shooting every person he can see. And then he like plays around with his ammunition a little bit and sets it down on the floor. Then he walks, after he's done killing the people and putting more bullets in them, he walks all the way back out to his car, changes his gun. Then he walks back again. He walks past the mosque, finds some people, shoots some people outside. Then he goes back inside and shoots everybody who he's already shot again. And it's really horrible to watch, but it does not look fake at all, if you ask me. I mean, when he shoots those dead bodies, you see how their bodies, you know, they move, the impact from the bullet. And as he comes back out of the mosque the second time, he sees a woman running away, and he pulls up his gun real quick. He has to make a quick shot, and he hits her through this narrow little gap. And then this woman's screaming out for help, and she's rolling around, shot on the ground, and he walks up above her, and he shoots her in the back. And then he shoots her again in the head, and it's gross. I mean, literally a part of her head and her hair flies out into the street because she shot along the sidewalk. And then he gets in his car and he starts driving to the next mosque. And along the way, he shoots out his front windshield. He shoots out his side windshield. He shoots some people along the way too. I mean, what's up, caller?
Hey, Zach, this is Lawrence in Michigan.
How you doing, man?
Hey, I had a quick comment on the available video that I was able to see regarding the shooting that everybody's talking about, right? I couldn't see the whole thing, like the gruesome whatever, and the events that you described. All I get is little clips. That's all that I've been able to find.
The original video is 16 minutes and some seconds. So, yeah.
All right. Well, here's what I got to say. I was able to see a little bit, and regarding whether this guy was a professional or not, and I'm not here to argue this, it's just something I noticed, is that when he got out of the vehicle, when he at first had his rifle, carbine rifle, probably some kind of M4 variant, some AR, he had a light on it, he had a weapon light on it, and the weapon light, this is in daytime, broad daylight, his weapon light was engaged in a strobe mode, and he was strobing the shit out of the asphalt on his feet. And I have a weapon light on my rifle too, and I'll tell you what, it's kind of annoying, the fact that you can bump it on and bump your light on, and it's the first thing you notice, and you want to turn it off, and you're like, damn it. So the fact that he didn't just turn that off right away, I'm kind of wondering what he was doing, or maybe he was just like going video game hero mode or whatever. But why? It wouldn't be a move of a professional to get out of the car and be so unfamiliar or new to their equipment, or having such equipment that their light would turn on in the daytime and start strobing the ground as they're going to walk on the sidewalk. And How about that last caller you had? Fuck. I would encourage that guy to call back and talk some more. It's just fun to hear people with so much dumbass shit go on with it.
Yeah, that guy was an idiot. So who knows? He might call back in yet.
Who knows where he came from or what his origin was? But I'll tell you what, he didn't sound like any 18-year-old or 17-year-old. I don't talk to too many of them. I'm not saying he was some type of high-level informed agent of some type, but he might have been. You never know. He might have worked for some fucking newspaper or something. Who knows? Because all his shit didn't add up at all. And I liked how he got all wound up and started coming at you. That was funny. I hope he calls back.
Right.
Call back, dude.
Somebody said something in the chat that I was thinking too, is the strobe, as he pointed at people, that would affect them. And perhaps that's the reason. Huh?
That's the intent of a strobed weapon light, is to fatigue the intended victim's visual system so it stuns them so that you can get a better point of aim and take out vitals and shoot them and move on and, you know, go do the rest of your work being that you're a rifleman. So I don't really need the strobe on my light, but it just came on it. What my interest was just in case I had coyotes doing anything more than running around in the back tree line, they can do that all they want. But if they start getting pushy and hostile and brave, you know, it's nice to have a light on your rifle.
Sure. So, yeah.
And anyway, if you're going to shoot someone in the dark, you better know what the fuck it is. So anyway, that's my point.
Right. That makes sense.
But I saw the guy misuse the light. I was like, nah, I don't know how professional he'd be if he kicked on or if he did that. That didn't seem right to me. But obviously, the whole thing's a staged thing with some probably drug the fuck out of Delta slave. You know, like you said, MK Ultra guy pulled out of who knows where. Right. You know, you don't even know what's up with those people. Shit, I'm glad I'm not one of them. Every day my day is shitty. I think, well, at least I'm not some fucking MK Ultra slave like Miley Cyrus or something. Fuck.
Right.
Thanks a lot, Billy Daddy, for selling me into this shit. I'd be thinking.
Yeah.
Asshole. So yeah, I can hear you're pissed off today. Probably about your book deal with Etsy. That would chat my ass too, but you'd have to see it coming, you know.
Well, I'm not surprised, man. And it's the second 2 out of the last 3 years I've been fucked with on the 74th day of the year. Last year, this time I couldn't even post a video online. At this time, all my accounts were locked up. So I guess technically I was probably being fucked with last year at this time too. But 2 years ago today is when I got all my online accounts hacked. So.
What's gonna happen? It's par for the course. You gotta roll with that. That's your gig.
Yeah. So
doing it. So keep your head up and don't worry about these idiots calling from some international call telling about some pipe bomb. Dude, I'd like to send you a nice honey rolled blunt or something, and I'm not even gonna do that. You know, as if he's gonna send a pipe bomb. I mean, go ahead. Dude, call her. Try it.
Yeah. No.
Fucking send me one too.
So. Yeah, I'm not too worried about his threats. He was just talking big, but.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But he wasn't his age. He was lying. You don't know what little honeycomb he popped out of or what rock or whatever, but whatever he was saying, you know, and what he tried to draw out of you was a joke. Those people are going to have to step it up.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right on. Well, brother, I really appreciate the call.
Yeah, all right.
Take care, man.
Thank you, man. Later on.
See you. What's up, caller?
Toastmaster again. Hey, what everybody's got to also keep in mind, what a possibility may be, it's a pre-production. The whole thing's a pre-production and uploaded as I mean, if the government can upload a pre-recorded thing as a live stream, you know, if anybody can, they can. You know what I mean? So the whole thing could be just a pre-production. That's why it looks so believable. You know, they did the same thing with JFK's head. They had a piece of, fly off. I mean, some people say JFK was a mannequin, and then that piece flew off. So
you're right. I mean, it could be. It could be. It completely could be. But just the thing is, the thing that I really want people to understand is that these things are part of an agenda to you know, negatively impact the world. It's about building the police state.
Exactly.
It's about building this agenda for the next war. It's about taking away our rights and liberties. It's about making us hate each other. And I mean, is it a pre-production? It very well could be, and that would just show you just like how much more orchestrated and contrived it is. But
Okay, like exactly pre-production. Send the video out on. Have a totally Masonic town like Christchurch, New Zealand. Have a little what do you call it, drill on the day, you know, yesterday or whatever, today, whatever day it was. That have a drill at the mosque with people acting there, acting like, you know, the aftermath. That was the aftermath. The interviews with all the people that happened today. That was the Masonic drill. The whole thing could just be a pre-production. That's it. Hollywood. That's why they had the light on, because it's Hollywood. Bells and whistles.
You could be completely correct. So,
You know, so just keep that in mind.
so that's the piece that I've been missing for all these years. That's what I mean, it takes resources to travel to places and go and do on the ground interviews, but that's what has to happen. Somebody who actually cares enough about this. You know, I wish we had the Gematria Effect news team right now en route to Christchurch, New Zealand, to the site of the mosque, to the neighborhood, to talk about people. Because I mean, you could go to the neighborhood and you'd be like asking people around there, was there a shooting here March 15th at this time? Did any of this happen? Or if everyone around there is saying, you know, what's weird is I didn't even notice it, then you'd be like, okay, well, wait a minute. So
yeah, well, they wouldn't. It would be just like, you know, you said before, like, oh, I saw the sirens, I saw the cops. There had to be something going on.
But did they hear the gunshots? Because there's so many gunshots in that period of time. I mean, he fired a lot of shots.
Exactly. Well, you know, even in America, you know, the cops shoot old flags at all these school shootings. They shoot old flags at the other side of the school, and then they have the kids run outside and all holding each other. It's ridiculous.
Sure. But I mean, the only way that we're ever going to be able to prove these types of things is if we can get on the ground and talk to people and gather enough evidence to say, okay, look, we have enough people here in this neighborhood saying, you know, something that's completely contrary to what's been reported. So.
Absolutely. I'll be part of that team, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, caller. Great points. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care, man. Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past the people who create this propaganda to contrive this video. And I'd like to think that that's what happened and people weren't really murdered in cold blood. But, you know, again, contrived or not, the agenda is what matters. So. What's up, caller?
What's up, Zach?
What's on your mind?
This is Ezra Goldfinkel Steinberg.
Oh, my favorite username. What's up, man?
Oh yeah, I wanted to call in and just get the generic. My niece died at this event out there.
Right.
Just wanted to throw that out. My niece was there, and she did get gassed. But okay, so the 14. Let me tell you about the 14. What I think it was. Usually, you see 1488, right?
1488. Fill me in. What is it?
You don't know what 1488 is?
No.
Dude, you're not hanging around the right white nationalist crowds like me.
Okay, so something went down in 1488. I got to look it up. I did not know this.
Well, okay, so I'm Indian, and I get real into this white nationalist stuff, so I could just like say it in public, make people feel bad.
Okay.
And so 1488 is the 14 words, which is we must secure the existence for the white race and the future for white children. And 88 is the 8th letter of the alphabet, H, and it's Heil Hitler.
Ah, I see.
So the reason he cut out the 88 part, which is what I found interesting, he only had the 14 on there, right? I was looking for the 88. And he cut out the 88 because this guy he's actually like a pro-Zionist. Even in his manifesto, he said that I don't have any problem with Jews or Israelis as long as they don't subvert my people.
Huh. Interesting.
Which is like so retarded because it's mostly the small hats that are instigating this like refugee crisis.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Right. Huh.
And this guy, he's like one of those Tommy Robinson type dudes who just like focuses on the symptom of the problem, which is the Muslims, but he doesn't attack the actual source of the problem, which is like the Kalergi plan. And we know where the Kalergi plan came from.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to fill you in on the 14. I think that's what the 14 stands for on his gun.
You're probably right. I'd never heard of this before. The 14 words. There it is. Yeah, I just put it up on the screen while you were talking about it. So very interesting.
Yeah.
You taught me something new.
Dude, what kind of Nazi are you, Zach? You don't even know the word?
Yeah, I actually had never heard of this before. The 14 words. How about that?
Dude, and if anybody calls you a Jew, just tell them that you're not circumcised. Like, just that ends it all right there. It's like, I'm less Jewish than you.
Right, which is true because most people are circumcised. So
yeah.
People are probably wondering how you know that. It's because he's heard me say it before.
Huh?
People are probably in the chat going like, how does he know that about him? So,
well, dude, I'm like you know what people who are super hardline anti-circumcision are called? We're called intactivists. We want to keep you intact.
Right, that's funny.
And, once you find out about the brutality of the practice and how the small hats, how they do it, there's no way you can't be an activist against it.
Absolutely. You're right on, caller.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, dude. All right, thank you, man.
All right, yeah, you take care. Somebody's been trying to call in from Washington, D.C. I'm going to call them back just because they keep trying to get through, but somebody's always on the line.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless.
Well, I tried to call them, but it went to that. Well, the line's back open. If you want to call back in, DC, I will take your call, but you got to beat the next person. There they go. What's up, caller?
Hello, Derek. I'm here with the Wellington Police Station.
Say that again?
I'm here with the Wellington Police Station, Derek. I would like to inform you that you are breaking law. Could you please stop spreading false information about the victims? What you are doing is actually really offensive to the families and the victims. Could you please shut down the stream because this is not right?
I don't understand what I'm doing that's offensive to the victims.
Derek, we're going to have to involve American police force if you keep going. Saying this event is fake, saying this event is not real, is actually extremely offensive to the victims' families.
Who said it was fake? Who said it was fake?
That you were trying to take attention away from the matter at hand.
Who said it was fake?
You're going on about it's fake. You're saying it's all a conspiracy and that
I never said it was fake.
Yes, you did.
You gotta do a better job as a police officer to listening, because I never said it was fake. I said it's an agenda waged by the police and the military.
Derek, we're gonna have to contact the Milwaukee police station, or the closest one to you, if you keep going on.
Well,
please shut down the stream and stop acting as if this is something that is good.
So you're a police officer yourself?
Yes, sir.
For what police department?
I work for the Wellington Police Department.
The Wellington Police Department. Is there any way we can identify you? Do you have a name, an officer number?
I'm not under the condition to give that out. And due to the fact that I will be harassed dramatically by your, fans.
Well, I wouldn't harass you. I'm not that type of person. So, listen, if you really are a police officer, I don't really care much for police. I've been harassed and bullied by police. I've had my house burglarized by police. I've had police destroy my house on Christmas Eve.
Milwaukee.
Huh?
1212 East 36th Street, Milwaukee. Is that how you say that?
What about it?
Your real name is Derek Takuri.
No, that's not me. That's the guy who built the Gematria calculator. So you're even attacking the wrong person. Your police work's really bad. My name's Zachary Hubbard. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to go after Derek. Derek's not even online right now. Poor guy hung up. Oh, God. I didn't even hang up on that guy. He hung up on himself. Poor guy embarrassed himself. How do you confuse me and Derek? Let's see here. Caller?
Zach.
What's up?
Hey, yeah, I heard the first two, the guy that was yelling at you the first time, then the second time. I think that was the same guy. Really sounded like the same guy to me.
Yeah, they both had this similar accent. They very well might have been.
Yeah, okay, and then one other thing. I've been looking on the YouTube, of course, whatever, a bunch of bullshit I know, but there is something saying here that Hillary Clinton, Obama, and they both have visited that same church that this happened at, and John Podesta, which was Hillary Clinton's, campaign manager, he was there a few days in New Zealand a few days before this happened.
Is that
I
right?
just thought might be it. Yep. So I thought maybe that would be something you wanted to look into. The video is called Early Sabbath about the shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand, John Podesta, 3 days before.
Huh. I am going to look that up. Very interesting.
Huh?
I'm definitely going to look that up. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, there's a video on there right now on YouTube. You can look it up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do my own homework. I have very little faith in most YouTube video makers. So many people push so much crap that's not true, but I will look into it. So.
Yeah. Another thing before I go here is that what does Christchurch have to do with Muslims? Just wondering.
Well, I mean, isn't it just right there in the words? So. Yeah, I appreciate it, caller. Thanks for the heads up, man. All right, you have a good day. Take care. What's up, caller?
Oh, finally, I'm on. Awesome. Hi. Man, let me turn this down so you don't hear the computer. Well, hello. My name's Christiana. I'm just calling. Sorry, I'm gonna ramble on a little bit. I'm actually a survivor of the campfire that happened in Paradise in November, and this past summer I discovered you, and I was a Trump supporter. I went through a whole spiritual Kundalini awakening process in September 2016, right before the election, and just was guided to vote for him, and that's when I started realizing, so much of what's going on, and then researched over the past 2 years, and then like I said, this summer I came across your channel at the same time as I had been studying the other fires that had been taking place in California, in Redding and Santa Rosa, and I had been saying for quite some time, we're next. Our time's coming, and the week before the fire, well, not even, my birthday is October 26th, which same day as Hillary Clinton's, and I had received some kind of synchronicities that were significant to me, and one of them was a music video of a person's childhood home burning down, and then a couple days later, I was just inundated with seeing ones and eights everywhere. It was ones and eights, and the next day I had this feeling, and I put out a tweet saying, between now, which was it was November 1st, so the date broke down to 11/11. That mass fated events were meant to happen between then and 11/11/2018, and then that next week the campfire happened, and my mom and I and my grandparents barely got out. So many didn't make it. Like what the media said. The number was 88 people that died. There was hundreds upon hundreds of people who died. And, you know, when I first came across your channel, I was a little bit in doubt. Not in doubt. I was just a lot to take in because I didn't want to admit that, you know, Trump wasn't, you know, playing for the good guys. But then the campfire happened and it confirmed everything I had been saying. You know, that our time had came, you know, and I lost my home. My grandparents lost their home. Luckily, my mom and I, we were able to get our 4 cats and some belongings out. My grandparents only got out with, you know, the clothes on their back. And, literally, like, we looked at we thought the fire was on the other side of town. And then the next thing we know, we look out our front window and there's, a wall of flames as tall as pine trees just right across the street. And by the time, you know, but my mom and I got out with our 4 cats, 15 minutes later, the house directly across the street was on fire. And I mean, it was absolute madness. And, you know, the town was gone so fast. And I grew up in that town. And so that music video, you know, was like a, kind of, you know, like warning me, because it was my childhood, you know, town and hometown, and childhood home. My childhood home was destroyed, everything, and so, you know, that really confirmed to me, like, you know, everything you've been talking about was right. You know, I mean, it really reinforced it, and so just something that was, you know, I found to be odd. You know, my mom and I had planned to move up to Washington, but I have some health problems that we were waiting to heal. Right before the fire, she just so happened to get in contact with her cousin who lives in Washington, and everything just kind of aligned, and we ended up moving up to Washington, up in the northern, like, we can see Canada, you know, like right across the way, basically. And you know, just last night I was saying to my mom how crazy it is, you know, now that I've been watching you more consistently, just to hear you talk about paradise of all things, and to have survived that event, and to have not only survived it, but like had been saying for months upon months that our time was coming. And, you know, we were next, you know, after Reading and the car fire. And then, you know, to have seen the numbers, and my whole awakening process, I've just seen numbers, just consistent combinations of numbers. And, you know, even you bring 74 up so much. Well, like 722 has been a significant number in my life, and like that's like my number, as I say, and that's just like one of the many numbers that I kept seeing that you keep bringing up that are significant, you know, in this code, you know, and by the numbers, as you say, you know, and so it's, yeah, you know, I was just saying last night how crazy it is to hear you talk about paradise, and to be a part of all that. And, you know, everything's starting to make sense to me, that, you know, part of my purpose is to start getting this out there, to start telling people. I have plans to start a YouTube channel, and I have a lot of things in the works as I'm healing with my health issues. But, you know, just then finding out just a few minutes ago that, you know, that you also live in Washington, and it sounds like you're not too far from where I am. It just really reinforced kind of my purpose, and that, you know, whatever it is you're doing, you know, that you're sharing, that, you know, it's something that I'm meant to pass along, or to kind of continue on. And, you know, so I just kind of wanted to call in, just because I hear your frustration in humanity right now. And, you know, I just wanted to say, like, you know, I get there's so many people out there who are they're just completely, they're sheep, you know, they're brain dead pretty much. But, you know, there are people out here who, you know, you know, we're going to get this out. Like, it's simply a matter of time, you know. And I don't, you know, I hear the frustration about, you know, the limited number of the books that you're selling, and just all that stuff. And you know, I'm just here. You know, you can be as negative as you want, but, you know, you've got someone here who is, you know, totally supportive, and is someone who's willing to, you know, kind of be that positive reinforcement, and remind you, like, no, like, we're gonna get this out. Like, it's only a matter of time. And you know, like, you know, you're someone I've come to really respect, like, your dedication to all of this. And you know, being that you're in Washington, I'm in Washington, I just, I would like to, hopefully, if we can get in contact sometime, and I would love to get together and take you out to lunch and just hear whatever it is, like just let you just kind of go off and everything, share whatever it is that you have to share, and whatever it is that more that I mean, obviously you've got your book too, which is something that I'm working on reading, and I haven't bought it yet. I broke my devices in the escape from the campfire, and so I'm working on getting all that figured out to have something that is mine, because I'm using a loaner computer. But I just would like I said, like to invite you out to lunch, or to have a get together sometime, and just hopefully that you'd be willing to pass on whatever it is you have to share to me, and let's start so I can start really putting my work out there too, so we can start waking people up and getting more and more people on board. And you talk about that truther community. That's something I've talked about building forever. So it's something that I would love to brainstorm or work on with you and whoever else who wants to join. And let's just get this shit on the road and really start. Like you just said, you talked about creating like a Gematria news team. Like, I'm willing to be of support however I can. That's basically. I'm hoping to, just give you a little positive reinforcement with this phone call with how frustrated you are with everybody today. So.
Well, thank you very much, caller. I really appreciate the support, and you do have my number, and I'm looking for people to help me out, so you can always call me back. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and the fire. A lot of people in the chat were asking, do you know how many people actually died?
No, I don't. Honestly, I had listened to some. I had listened to some YouTube videos of people who went back and did some interviews with some local people, and someone said that as soon as they walked into the city limits, basically were all of the skyway, because there were some really fishy things that have happened with all of this, and they had just narrowed the main exit, Skyway. It used to be a 3-lane road, and so many people fought against it, and they narrowed it to 2 lanes, and they were so afraid that there was going to be an emergency and people weren't going to be able to get out, and that's exactly what happened. And there were cars left everywhere, and I guess the person who was a volunteer, I guess firefighter or something like that, as soon as he got into town, he said he saw like about 200 bodies just right there.
That's terrible.
So there's no confirmation, but I mean it's absolutely hundreds upon hundreds.
That's horrible. I'm sorry you had to live through that, caller. I'm glad you made it. I appreciate your passion and that you're supporting and starting your own work. And please do keep in touch with me. Again, you got the number. I'm going to let some other people phone in just because other people are trying to call in right now. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
One thing I just want to say though is they burn this town. They're looking for the gold. Like this town's known for it's part of the gold rush, and they're doing everything they can to keep people out, and they are absolutely looking for gold in this town. So I just want to throw that out there too. And if anybody else can figure out, I haven't been able to figure out any more information on it, but I know that's exactly what it is. So anyways, I will be in contact. I hope you do, or you have a good rest of your day and weekend. All
right, you too. Thank you, caller.
Right, bye. Bye.
Yeah, I think a lot of things that happen in this world, a lot of the destruction in this world comes back to gathering valuable resources. So that might have something to do with why those towns and areas were attacked. Yeah, she had a lot to say. She reminded me of my own mother. When my mom calls, I just know that, I'm going to be holding the phone for about an hour and a half, and I'm not going to say a word because my mom's just going to talk the whole time. So anyway, somebody kept posting in the chat. They've posted it several times. I don't know if they're still here, but they kept saying, how come you talk about Lucifer if you're not a Christian? And I don't understand questions like this, honestly. If a certain group of people believe in Lucifer and have a satanic agenda, I don't have to believe in it to understand it and talk about it. And I've always said for years that essentially what Satanism is self-worship. And I'm on the record saying from the day I got here that Satanism is the religion of the world, whether people realize it or not, because almost everyone is a self-worshiper. Almost everyone could care less about anybody but themselves and maybe their immediate group of family and friends, which is really just selfish. So, I mean, I don't have to have that belief system to understand it and realize that other people are about it. The people who rule over this world are absolutely satanic. You know, they're about their agenda at the expense of all other things. They don't care about other people. They don't care about other life forms. They don't care about the environment. You know, they just care about their own greed and wealth. Somebody from my native state. What's going on, Oregon?
Is this Zach?
It is.
Okay, hey Zach, this is Mary Crawford. And I was calling to ask you, how would a normal person, or semi-normal, such as myself, go about getting things rolling and getting things started to make a difference?
Well, I think what we all can do for the time being is just speak truth every opportunity we get, because I think that's the big problem in the world, is that so many people are just so afraid to speak out because they'll be condemned by their peers or their family or their coworkers. I just think we have to speak truth every opportunity we get, and the day that enough people start doing that, when there's a critical mass, I think that's the day we'll see things change. And beyond that, I think what we have to do is, those of us who are awake and who care about this world and want to stop the agendas that are in place and create a better future, I think what we have to do is figure out how to organize and create some synergy to bring more attention to the problems that we're speaking against. And these things are challenging.
That kind of leads into my next question too, or thought, by reiterating all this bad stuff that is happening in the world with the numbers and the words and like the book of formation says, doesn't that re-energize that bad intent out in the world? Besides just being aware of it, doesn't it bring about more bad?
So you're saying essentially by discussing the evil that these people do, doesn't that bring about more bad? Just to be clear, that's what you're asking me, right?
Not exactly, but I see where that, when you said it that way, it made more sense. I mean, you don't need to go any farther than that.
Well,
discussing the evil is good because it lets people be more aware of it.
Sure. Can you re-ask the question again? I want to make sure I answer it right.
Okay. By saying, like repeating the bad things that are happening and the numbers that coincide with those bad things, doesn't that reinforce those particular bad things?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question for certain. My whole purpose in doing this is to bring awareness, because if people aren't aware of what's going on, how are we ever going to solve the problem? And obviously very few people are aware. But by discussing it, is it bringing more power to it? I mean, maybe it is. So, I mean, like all things in this world, I would say there's a good side and a bad side. There's nothing that you can do in this world that's entirely good. There's nothing, well, maybe I'm just saying, but it just seems that most actions that will have a good and a bad side, often if you're helping somebody else, somehow, some way, something negative could come out of that that's unforeseen. Or maybe you do something bad to somebody and somehow something good comes out of that. Like, for example, the evil being waged against us, it's causing some of us to go out and say, okay, I need to know more about this world. I need to increase my knowledge and understanding. So we're becoming more aware. So yeah, I imagine that the question, I guess I've already answered the question, but yeah, it is a good question. Is there anything else?
What? No, that's it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right. You take care. Bye. All right. Well, you guys, it's getting close to it's past dinner time for us, and I was supposed to make dinner tonight, so my lady's letting me go here. But if I don't go make that dinner soon, there's going to be problems around here. So appreciate all of you, and again, if you were trying to get the book on Etsy, it was banned. I reposted on Bonanza, and it was selling, but I'm having a lot of people tell me that they can't get the book on Bonanza right now. I mean, they couldn't have possibly already shut it down here, could they? I'll do some. I do see that this number's not going up, so nothing's happened the whole time the live stream's been going on. But if it's banned on there, I'll figure out what to do. So. Bonanza not coming up. Here, let me link it in the, this is the spot you're supposed to be able to get the book. I just linked it. So if you click on that, it should pull this up. And I am noticing that, I am noticing that the buy button isn't there, and I don't know why that would be. Earlier it was there. Huh. Unless it's here. Let me look on a different browser. Oh, let me just see real quick. This website's called bonanza.com. Do a search. Letters and Numbers book. Oh. Well, that didn't help. Zachary K. Hubbard. Let's see if that. Huh. Well, that is not good. I don't know, you guys. I'll figure out what's going on. Hold on. We got another caller. What's up, caller?
Okay, Zach. I just wanted to kind of give my 2 cents with the thing in the mosque shooting, and I mean, it's very possible. Hold on, I'm gonna put my volume down. It's very possible that, I mean, I don't believe the shooting was fake. I question the motives of the shooter, and it's possible he could be working for somebody. That's what I think. I mean, he mugshotted himself before, so he mugshots himself. He writes his manifesto that lays out all his motives, who he is, and then he shoots everyone in Christchurch. He shoots all the Muslims in Christchurch. To me, it just seems like he's working for somebody. That's what I think. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, what you're saying is what I agree with. He's definitely working for someone. He's working for the government. He's working for the New World Order. I mean, I don't know who got to him, but he's clearly their patsy. They chose him for a reason. Maybe they knew he had enough hatred in his heart. They knew he had the right psychological profile to do this. But he's ultimately serving the agenda that the rulers of this world want. The same people who gave us 9/11, the same people who give us all this divisive propaganda that divides us amongst religion that goes on worldwide. So,
yeah, like I saw another video too. Someone thinks that there could have even been like CGI. He mugshots his face. It's like, here's my face.
Right.
Here are my motives.
Right.
And then we're in Christchurch. I shoot all the Muslims. To me, it's clearly like, I don't think the shooting was fake. I think he definitely shot everyone there.
Right.
But I don't. To me, it's like, I think he's working for somebody. But it's so crazy, man. Because the people I know, the people aren't going to understand this. I mean, I was not aware of all this stuff, of false flags, and I remember when I first like caught wind of false flags, 9/11. I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. Like, that's the most absurd thing I could possibly think of.
How old are you? How old are you? I just got to ask how old you are.
I'm 34. Why?
Okay, we're around the same age. Okay, I didn't know if you're 17 years old or 40 years old. I just wondered.
Yeah.
Okay, but go ahead.
I've had a hell of a thing. Well, I'm kind of like behind with stuff, to be honest with you, because of my own personal, life situations. But
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I try talking about this with people I know, and man, it doesn't get anywhere. I mean, it's like they're not going to listen to this. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen, because not enough people are going to know about this. Because when this happens, who's going to think like, oh, it's a setup? You know, it's like ridiculous, but it is. That's what it is. This is like set up exactly, you know, with these people who are trying to manipulate like the government. And it's just, dude, I don't see how people are going to wake up to that. But I appreciate that you're doing something to at least trying to wake more people up. For me, it's like if you literally do the gematria of a news you read, you will literally make more progress than if you just read the news for what it is. So that's how I take it. So,
sure. So I'm just okay. So we're around the same age. I'm 35. So I'm thinking you were probably about 17 years old when 9/11 happened. Maybe you were a senior in high school.
I was a sophomore. I remember it. And I mean, who's gonna think like that's fake? You know, I didn't. I mean, other people have. I mean, I think you may have been the type. I think I heard you say that you may have questioned it at the time. I didn't. I was just like, what the fuck? You know, I didn't even think like that was a government operation or anything. But yeah, other people have said that they questioned that when they saw it. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, so I definitely questioned it the moment I saw it. I already thought things were funny in the country as soon as Bush became president, because it was just so weird how it came down to the state where his brother was the governor and he was the, you know, first Republican president since his father. And I was just thinking, this just looks like a family affair and kings and queens. And what kind of country do I live in? And the next thing you knew, 9/11 happened. So my red flags were just up all over the place.
Well, I mean, the more people need to. It's really good. More, man. I need to make a channel or something, because this stuff is crazy, and I could tell just from your like determination. I mean, you not only want to be successful, but you also do want to. You have concern about where you're living. I don't totally agree with a lot of the things that you say, but for the most part, it's good that it's like waking people up, because more people need to know about this, because this is it's just hard to believe, you know. It's really hard to believe. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if this is an appropriate thing to bring up. I think I might have been blocked on your live stream. I don't know if you'd be able to unblock me.
What's your account name? Sometimes my mods block people and they shouldn't. I wish. Yeah, I'd rather them not ban people.
I mean, sometimes, like, I've been blocked before on live streams, and I'm like, I was blocked on Adam's live stream, on Adam Green. I emailed him. I was like, oh, I was blocked on the stream. Could you, like, unblock me? And he unblocked me. So I think I get, you know, when you get, I'm like, I don't know. I guess you could say something that may not be good, but yeah.
What's your account name? What's your account name?
Divine.9, DIVINE.9. Sorry if I've been a jackass. I think I've been a jackass to you a couple of times. Nothing too bad. I haven't been too bad. I haven't like totally bashed you, but you know, I can be kind of a jackass sometimes.
What's your account name one more time?
It's a DIVINE.9.
Okay, I'll find your account and I'll unblock it, and then just don't be a dick in the future.
Okay, cool, man.
All right,
man. I really hope that we need to do something, and it's awesome that you're doing what you're doing. So I appreciate it. And I plan on getting your book, and it's a really cool subject. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, well, thanks for taking my call.
All right, I appreciate it, man. You take care.
Okay, yeah, unblock me too.
All right, I will. What's up, caller?
Hey Zach, look, listen. I have not, I've never called in before. The only reason why I found your channel was because of the Super Bowl and the Saints losing. I'm from New Orleans, but the only thing I have to say is about this New Zealand shooting and whatnot. I'm from the Las Vegas community. Like we figured the shit out that they weren't, you know, like it was all a problem, right? And the main thing about this thing is that if you look at the Las Vegas shooting, what was the one thing that everybody was looking for? There was no shooting out of the window, right?
Well, God, it's been so long now. I remember there was just all sorts of information. It seemed like there was shooting from different floors than what they reported. People were wondering how he knocked out that pane of glass.
Right, but there was no video of it. There was you can go search on YouTube all you want or anywhere else. There's no gunfire coming out of that window on video, right?
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna take your word for it. You're there. Sounds like you did your research. I'd have to go back and look. It's been a while since I thought about Vegas.
Okay. All right. So the thing is that they can control everything that's going on YouTube or whatnot, and you have all these people talking about something, and they'll say, "Well, there's no reason. There's reasons to think about. Oh, well, here's the video of them shooting out the windows. Oh, here it is. Then that's the proof." So I think the reason why this shooting happened the way it happened, and he live streamed it, was so that you can have so-called proof of the shooting on video.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's what I was thinking about too, because I mean, this is the most graphic video ever available for any type of mass shooting. And the powers that shouldn't be realize that there's this community of people saying, like, look, they keep reporting all these mass shootings, but they're not giving any evidence. Well, this recent event, it changes that pattern. So it seems like in a way they're upping the bar.
Exactly. That's the only reason why I wanted to call in. I was saying, like, look, all these other shootings that happen, there's shit video, or there's no video available, and then this time, look, we're live streaming it. You can see it. We're doing it in front of everyone.
Yeah, I think you're right on, caller. You make a great point. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks, Zach. Thanks for your work.
All right, take care.
Later.
See you. All right. Yeah, I was multitasking. I was listening to him and trying to figure out what's going on with the book. It says, warning message. This is an item preview only. Nobody can see it but you. I don't get what's going on here because I set this up earlier and I said 999 digital copies, so I don't understand. I'll have to figure this out, but I mean, I shouldn't be having this problem. I know that I did it all right earlier and it was working, so I don't know how it got unlisted again. But I'll figure out what's wrong, and then I'll repost it again because this did work earlier, and it doesn't look like it's blocked. It's just looking like for some reason it's not available at the moment. I'll figure out what's wrong. 4-7s. I don't know why it stopped working. It was working earlier. Okay, you guys, it is time to go make dinner. I'm gonna have an angry lady. I'll figure out what's wrong with the book. Appreciate all of you. Be back sooner than later. Have a great rest of your day, your evening, depending on where you are in the world. Till next time.